Choosing the right carry-on luggage can make all the difference between a stress-free journey and a complete travel nightmare. Today, we're diving into one of the longest-running debates in the travel world: hard shell versus soft shell luggage. In this very short video, I'm going to walk you through the key considerations and highlight the pros and cons of each so you can make an informed decision and spend your hard-earned money on a bag that actually works for you. Let's get into it. Now, first, let's talk about the most obvious difference: the materials. There's a lot of different materials for hard-sided bags: polypropylene, polycarbonate, ABS, and aluminum. And some are better than others. ABS is known to crack easily. Aluminum bags are very cool, very pretty, but also very expensive, and they're gonna dent after like 2 uses. When it comes down to it, I would opt for polycarbonate, which is incredibly durable, lightweight, and it's resistant to cracks while still being pretty affordable. For soft shell luggage, you're typically choosing between nylon or polyester, and nylon is going to be the tougher and more abrasion resistant of the two. A higher denier number of nylon indicates increased durability, and you may not always see this on the product pages, but if you ever see something like 1000D, that D is the denier number. In general, hard-sided luggage is going to be a bit more protective and durable, and soft shell luggage lends itself better to flexibility. Soft-sided luggage is going to be a little more forgiving than hard-sided luggage in terms of how much you can fit into the bag, and it could also be the difference maker when it comes to squeezing your bag into an overhead bin. Now, this can depend on if the bag has an internal skeleton or not. Some bags are marketed as soft-sided, but really they're hybrids. They've got a sturdy internal skeleton with a soft fabric coating. For example, the Away soft-sided bag or the Peak Design Roller Pro. Although neither is going to be completely waterproof, hard-sided luggage will be more water resistant. We experienced this torrential downpour in Croatia, and what I noticed is items near the zippers of our hard-sided bags got a little wet, but thanks to the shell, things stayed mostly dry. Many soft-sided bags would have completely soaked through. In this same way, hard-sided luggage is usually a bit easier to clean. You can typically just wipe it down or use a magic eraser to remove stains or marks. The downside is it's going to show scuffs, scratches, and it will dent much easier. Soft-sided bags aren't going to look as scratched or scuffed, but they can stain. Now let's talk about some features to look out for with either type of bag. First of all, size and weight. If you're planning to carry on, don't trust marketing terms like carry-on size or fits most airlines. Companies use this language even when their bags don't actually meet airlines' rules. Look for the actual external dimensions, including wheels and handles, because a bag marketed as 21 inches might actually measure 23 inches when you include everything. Every airline has different rules, and personally, I got very tired of checking this manually, so my team and I created a free tool to see how compliant any given bag is across 170 plus airlines. You can access that for free at willmybagfit.com or using the link below. All right, let's talk about wheels. Should you go 2 wheels or 4? Soft-sided bags come in both 2 and 4-wheel varieties, but when it comes to hard-sided bags, 99% of them are going to be 4-wheel bags. So which option is better? Well, I can tell you this: 2-wheel rollers tend to use larger, recessed wheels that are a bit sturdier and give you a little bit more packing space inside. 4-wheel spinners glide very smoothly. They spin 360 degrees, but the wheels can be smaller and sometimes more fragile. If you do decide to go with 360-degree spinning luggage, I recommend cases that actually have 8 wheels. It looks like they have 4, but it's actually 4 sets of wheels, with each mechanism having 2 wheels. If there's just 4 and one goes out, it's gonna be like getting that cart at the grocery store. If you know, you know. I'd also pay attention to the type of wheel you're getting. You want something sturdy, quiet, and smooth. For 2-wheel bags, these thicker rollerblade style wheels on the soft-sided Bellroy Light carry-on are amazing. On four-wheel bags, some of the smoothest wheels I've ever felt are on level 8 cases, monos, and then any bag that features Hinomoto wheels. The Air Carry-Ons wheels are some of the smoothest I've ever felt, and it also has this wheel lock where you can engage a brake mechanism. If you're on a moving train or even on an incline, your bag is not going anywhere. We tested the crap out of this thing, and honestly, this is a feature I really hope we begin to see on more bags. A lot of hard-sided carry-ons now feature TSA locking zippers with a built-in combo lock. Most soft-sided bags don't, but to be honest, these can be somewhat easily bypassed by just stabbing through the zipper with a pen. They're not as theft deterrent as we'd like to think. To truly keep your belongings secure, you might want to consider a bag that uses latches instead of zippers, like here on the Soul Guard. A feature to consider: do you need external pockets? Pockets are pretty much a default for soft-sided bags, which can be pretty nice, especially if you're a one-bag traveler, because they give you quick access to essentials you might need in transit. But this is something you really have to seek out in hard-sided luggage. It is not going to be default at all. Some great examples here: the Level 8 Roadrunner, the Monos Carry-On Pro, and then a bag we just recently reviewed, the Noble. Here's one of the biggest differences between soft-sided and hard-sided luggage that most travelers don't consider: the amount of space needed to pack these bags. Hard shells open like a book, and both halves have to lie flat, which means they sprawl out and they take up double the floor space. This is fine if you're at home, but it's pretty annoying in a tight hotel room. The trade-off is it can be a little bit easier to stay organized and see everything if you use packing cubes. Soft shell bags are more like a bucket with a lid. You just pile your stuff in and then you close it. These are generally quicker to pack, they take up a lot less room when open, and they give you a little extra flexibility if you want to squeeze in souvenirs or oddly shaped items. In either case, I think you'll never regret some internal organization and compartmentalization, and the ability to use packing cubes is always nice. Hey, if you've gotten value out of this video, please be sure to hit that like button so that YouTube knows to suggest it to other travelers like you. Thanks. So, which one is right for you? Beyond the watchouts that I've given you in this video so far, I would say the choice between soft-sided and hard-sided is very subjective, and it very much depends on your needs and preferences. But hopefully this video has helped you make the decision. I know plenty of people who swear by and have sworn by for years their soft-sided bag. I'm sure many of you watching do too. When using a suitcase, I tend to lean hard-sided because I like the added durability, the resistance to the elements, and just the overall aesthetic in general. Regardless of which one you choose, there are some amazing options out there, but also some real duds you want to avoid. So if you're leaning hard shell, watch this video where we break down several of the winners and the losers in that category, and then the same thing right here for soft-sided. Thanks so much for watching. Happy travels.